were new and exciting for us 4 years ago. Genesis has the fashion-forward brands other stores aren't even allowed to carry. It's no wonder you see jewelers from other cities coming to Genesis to see what we're all about, and even buy their wives' jewelry from us. For selection, quality, service, warranties, and guarantees, Genesis leads. Others follow. So for diamonds, engagement rings, exclusive designer jewelry for any occasion, don't compromise. Come to the jeweler that sets the industry standards year after year. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
More machines, more savings, and more muscle. Only with John Deere construction equipment from Meade Tractor. Hit the heavy jobs harder with our Own It offer and get special financing on select models. New, used, or rent, we have the right equipment and technology solution for you with the affordable financing you need. Contact us today at our Nashville location or go online at meadtractor.com.
Offer valid on qualified purchases and new equipment made between now through October 31st, 2021. Subject to approved installment credit with John Deere Financial for commercial use. Only down payment and required. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Tune in every Monday at 8 a.m. and Friday at 3:15 to hear News 2's Corey Curtis take on all things Nashville sports, including the week's NFL games. All brought to you by Invigorate Health in Mount Juliet. Look and feel your best with IV therapy, medical weight loss, testosterone, body shaping, and more.
Mortgage rates are on the move. Don't miss the chance to lock in the best rate of your lifetime with my friends at Loan Pronto. Hey, Willie Donick here. Call Loan Pronto today and take advantage of their super popular zero-cost refi program. So many people are doing this. You can get a rate with an APR in the low twos with no junk fees, no closing costs. Yes, they pay your closing costs, even if you refinanced 6 months ago. Loan Pronto's all-digital process is fast and easy. Virtually no paperwork required. And most loans get closed in 14 days. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now and start the process. Don't wait on rates to spike again. If your current APR is over 2.75, call now for a free 30-second quote. 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal Housing Lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans eligible for zero-cost option.
Nashville's best sports talk. Locally owned. Home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram. 97.5 Murfreesboro. WBUZ HD2 Laverne. Online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. It's game day for the Two-Tone Blue. This is NFL Pregame with Jared Stillman, forever receiver Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard. Brought to you by E2 Roofing, FanDuel Sportsbook, Freedom Tire Guys, Hillside Medical Clinic, Parman Tractor and Equipment, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, Social Furniture, and TriStar Moving. NFL Pregame starts now on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
And it is game day, Monday Night Football. It is the pregame show on ESPN 102.5 The Game. We are live at Rock Bottom Brewery, downtown Nashville. 3-2 Titans, 4-1 Bills, and it is Monday Night Football. Mark Howard will join us momentarily. Chris Sanders will join us later in the program. He's on the practice field taking care of NBA football. So Caroline Fenton is here. And welcome to your first ever pregame show.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here. I was wondering it'd be a matter of time until you invited me up here.
Well, you don't ever invite me to any of your stuff, so.
Yeah, I do.
The pregame show is presented by TriStar Moving, Parman Tractor and Equipment, FreedomTireGuys.com, FanDuel Sportsbook, E2 Roofing, Hillside Medical, Social Furniture, and our friends at Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Let's be honest about today's game. The Titans are 3-2. But they're considered an average team as far as the NFL is concerned. I don't think there's anybody out there who thinks the Titans are one of the best teams in the league. I don't think there's anybody out there that thinks the Titans are a surprise team right now. I don't think there's anybody who feels confident about the Titans. And I don't mean to be rude in saying this. I think it's just where the Titans are. The Buffalo Bills, on the other hand, people think are the number one team in the NFL. They are number one in points allowed on defense, as in they've allowed the least. They are number one in the NFL in points scored. So as of right now, they've got the number one offense, the number one defense. They've got what will be next year the highest paid player in the NFL at quarterback. but he's not. They've got 3 wide receivers. They've got a great defense with a star corner and 2 star safeties. They've got a defensive tackle whose name literally is Star, and he's a star. They are the real deal, and it is a big test today for the Titans.
Oh, it's going to be a huge test for the Titans because the biggest test that they've had so far, correct me if you think I'm wrong with this, was the Seattle Seahawks. And what we have learned since the Titans have played the Seattle Seahawks.
The Geno Smith Seahawks.
The Geno Smith-led Seahawks, which I don't know why you're so down on Geno Smith, but that's a conversation for another day.
I took the Seahawks, so I'm feeling good on the points.
That's a conversation for another day. But what we have learned about the Seahawks is that they are not the Seahawks that we expected them to be. So when the Titans beat the Seahawks, I think that we were a little bit more high on the Titans than we should have been. Because we've learned that the Seahawks aren't the Seahawks of last year or the year before, and we've learned that the Titans since then have a lot more weaknesses that are a little bit more concerning than we maybe would have originally let on.
What do we make of the Titans at this point at 3-2? It's early in the season. Cleveland, an AFC Super Bowl contender supposedly, is 3-3. The Colts got their second win yesterday. They're 2-4. So there are a lot of teams that we would compare the Titans with that are not that far ahead of the Titans. For example, the Chargers, red hot, got embarrassed by Baltimore. It doesn't seem like anybody outside of Buffalo right now in the AFC seems to be playing a perfect game.
Oh, absolutely not. But I think if you're a Titans fan, you're looking at the AFC South. It's not over by any means. It's still very early in the season, but it feels like the Titans have a pretty comfortable grasp on the AFC South. The AFC as a whole, kind of a mess. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I don't think anyone could have predicted that the Chiefs would have been in the position that they are in right now. I thought the Bills were going to be a very good team this year. I didn't expect them to be the best team in the league, far and above the best team in the AFC. Right, it's kind of looking like right now. So the AFC is kind of a mess, but the Titans are still in it, very much so. It's kind of been leading down a little bit of a scary path because the Titans have such talented pieces. They have the best running back in the NFL. They have 2 very talented wide receivers. They have a talented quarterback. But this offense just hasn't been able to put all of these aspects together at the same time.
I wonder this question. Are the Titans in the mix with the second best teams in the AFC outside of Buffalo? Or are they more so with the Colts and the Bengals and the Raiders and kind of that, what I would normally consider to be an 8-8 tier. Now, 2 years ago, the Titans at this time, they were 2-4 to start the year through the first 6 games, and we thought the Titans were one of the worst teams in the league. And all of a sudden, they worked their way back up into that middle tier where they were there with Indianapolis and the Raiders, and then they got past them, made it to the playoffs, and then beat the Patriots and the Ravens, and then they're in the AFC title game. So anything is possible. But I think this. Going into the year, we thought the AFC had the Chiefs and the Bills. I think it's fair to say the Chiefs are now below that. The Chiefs
They're in that second tier.
I mean, I watched the Chiefs yesterday. Kind of stink. There's a lot of things about, the Chiefs. I was a Buffalo Bill fan. Fortunately, there seem to be a lot of them in downtown Nashville right now. But if I was a Buffalo Bill fan, I would be happy that my team beat the crap out of the Chiefs. But at the same time, I think I'd be a little worked up that, man, these are not the Chiefs that we played in the AFC Championship game. So I think Buffalo right now is clearly the top of the AFC. Then I think there's Baltimore. I would say the Chargers, but they got crushed by Baltimore, so I'm still going to put them up there.
But they still deserve that
kickoff,
spot.
flying across the country in a noon kickoff. That's a lot to ask.
I mean, the Titans lost to the Jets, and we're not going to define their season off of that loss.
That is true. But it does kind of feel like we can't trust them because they did that.
Yes.
So I think you're probably looking at Baltimore, not the Chiefs, right?
I would say Baltimore Chargers.
Chargers disappointed.
You were so high on the Chargers.
They got embarrassed. Now,
they did get embarrassed.
I should have known better than to bet on a West Coast team flying across the country, playing a noon game, and winning that game. But I'll with you. Okay, let's put the Chargers up there.
I think they deserve to be up there.
Then there's you, Cleveland, and Kansas City. And I think today's going to tell us, do you belong in a better tier, or do you belong with the Raiders and the Broncos and the Colts and everybody else? And then there's
the
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 Bengals,
Steelers, the Bengals,
Steelers.
yeah.
Then there's Jacksonville, the Dolphins, the Bums.
The no-hope teams.
Yes, the Jets, the team that you lost to.
I think this game is going to say a lot because I felt so confident putting the Chargers in that, not top tier in the AFC, but in the upper echelon of the AFC because, yeah, they got embarrassed by the Ravens, but they have put up some serious numbers throughout the season, and they've had some big-time wins. And Justin Herbert has kind of proved to us, look, I don't really feel like having a sophomore slump this year. We haven't really seen that as Jared hops in with a picture with some Bills fans.
Hey, take another picture.
I'm sure
Take
they
another picture.
appreciate
I
that
just photobombed your
very
picture.
much so.
I just photobombed your picture. Take another one. Take another one.
They'll be posting that on Facebook, and someone's going to say, who's that crazy man back there in the background?
I mean,
who's that crazy Titans fan back there?
Hey, you know what? Everybody that want to photobomb the picture, they got all the Buffalo fans, and I got the opportunity to photobomb, so I photobombed. You were saying?
I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by a photobomber over here,
True.
but I was saying I felt so confident putting the Chargers up that high in the tiers of the AFC because, yes, they got embarrassed by Baltimore, but they've put up so many numbers, and they have embarrassed other teams on several occasions. The Titans lost to the Jets, and I think that tonight is going to kind of be the time to say, look, that loss to the Jets, that was an outlier. That was kind of the exception. That was not the rule because they have to continue proving that week in and week out. The Chargers have proved that they are not that team that got embarrassed by Baltimore. The Titans haven't proved that they're not that team that lost to the Jets because they beat the Jags. They beat, that crummy, crappy Jags. They got embarrassed by the Cardinals. They just barely squeaked out a win against Seattle. I think they're going to have to do a little bit more than that to prove that they belong with those guys.
What would a win over Buffalo do in terms of how you feel about the Tennessee Titans?
It's going to prove to me that they can hang with the big dogs because they haven't been battle tested that much this year. And it's going to prove to me, okay, this is what this team can be. And I think that we kind of need to see that. I think we need to see what is this team exactly because, I don't really know if you feel this way, but I feel a little bit confused about exactly what this Titans team is and can be.
What if the Titans win a funky, fluky game like they did last year?
Well, a win's a win. Win's a win. It's going to put you in a better position in the AFC. When it comes to playoff time, it doesn't really matter if it was a fluky win or not. A win's a win, and it's going to put the Titans in a better position come playoff time. But if it's a fluky win, like some sort of weird interception pick six, some sort of weird, dumb, blown call that goes in the Titans' favor, I'm just going to be confused for another week.
Coming up on the other side of the pregame show, we will take a look at the 4 biggest storylines. We will move the chains. That's coming up next. We are live at Rock Bottom Brewery. Mark Howard will be joining us. Chris Sanders later by phone. TD as well, as we'll get you set for the Titans and the Bills. As of right now, it's Stillman and Company pregame. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From Bellevue to Hermitage,
their football field might be nicer than Nissan Stadium's field.
we are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Fiero Tequila Habanero is for those who enjoy the flavor of spice, naturally infused with fresh, vine-ripened peppers from farmers in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. Fiero Tequila Habanero is unapologetically the spiciest infused tequila available in the U.S. The hand-picked habaneros provide a delicious kick to the smooth Blanco tequila. It's a flavor punch that's perfect as a shot or a spicy way to spice up your hard seltzer, or perfect for a fiery cocktail. Available at fine liquor stores and your favorite drinking establishments. Fiero Tequila, the world belongs to the brave.
Are you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
Golfers, it's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the Callaway Apex Trade-In event running now through October 31st. Bring in any of your old clubs and receive a 50% trade-in bonus towards new Apex 21 irons. The Apex, Apex Pro, and Apex DCB are designed with artificial intelligence for faster ball speeds. Swing by and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Eyes, teeth, we love your whole face. Protect your employees' overall health by adding Delta Dental and Delta Vision plans to your benefits package. These plans offer cost savings in the largest networks of providers. Learn more at deltadentaltn.com.
We can see your smile, and we think you should be able to see it too. With Delta Dental of Tennessee and Delta Vision, we can improve your overall well-being by keeping your teeth and eyes healthy. Visit deltadentaltn.com to find an affordable plan.
Choosing the right window treatments for your living space is serious business. Why struggle on your own when you can have the expertise of a seasoned design consultant in the comfort of your home, free of charge? For over 40 years, 3-Day Blinds has been making sure treatments have the perfect look to fit your style. We bring the showroom to you. We design, we measure, we install, and you relax. Right now, get 50% off the second treatment of select blinds, shades, or drapery. Schedule your free, no-obligation in-home design consult. Visit 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
From Franklin to Germantown.
You're forcing defenses to make a decision.
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is NFL Pregame.
Pregame show is alive at Rock Bottom Brewery. Titans and Bills. A lot of the Bills Mafia have made their way to Nashville, Tennessee. And Mark Howard has made his way to Rock Bottom Brewery. Mark, you have seen the Bills fans, and the more Bills fans. Your thoughts on the Bills Mafia today?
Well, the thing is, the history between these franchises is just unbelievable. It has produced some of the most iconic games in the history of the NFL. Going back to when the Titans were in Houston, of course, the playoff game. And I guess sitting with Floyd, that is a game you dare not speak of.
You could be up 100-0, and if you thought the game was over, he would remind you of January 7th, 1993.
And you could make an argument that playoff game ultimately served as the first domino, which sent the Oilers out of Houston onto Nashville, and then of course the Music City Miracle, and. There are a lot of times where you hear people say, I was there and all that. I was in the back of the friggin' end zone doing a stand-up for Channel 5, lamenting on a good but great season that was about to end. And then it happened.
So I was in the 4th grade, and I was sitting in the club level towards the end zone that Kevin Dyson ran into. And I remember thinking, if we can just get a kick return here, if we can get a big pass play and set up a field goal. And I really was – that shows everybody out there now how sometimes people think I'm pessimistic. Like the Braves are up 2-0 in the NLCS, and I still think they're probably going to lose. And people think I'm pessimistic. There was once a point in time where with 16 seconds to go against the Buffalo Bills, I still thought they were going to win. And somehow – they performed a miracle. It's time now to move the chains. The 4 biggest stories presented by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. We move the chains on First Down.
First Down.
The Buffalo Bills are the number 1 team in the NFL in defense. They are the number 1 team in the league in offense. And they just went to Kansas City and embarrassed the Chiefs. Outside of their Week 1 hiccup against the Pittsburgh Steelers, they are unbeaten. And not only that, they are shutting people out. They look like they're playing, in high school terms, 5A football with everybody else playing 4A football. Mark Howard, your thoughts on how deep and talented this Buffalo Bill team is?
Well, this Buffalo Bills team really on both sides of the ball. They're leading the league in points per game, and they're leading. Their defense is leading in allowing least points per game. They've scored 35 points 4 games in a row. It's really pretty incredible the role they're on, coming off one of their biggest regular season wins in years over the Kansas City Chiefs. So a pretty formidable Monday night opponent for the Titans.
I look at Buffalo, and right now I think it's a 2-horse race, them and Arizona, for the best team in the NFL. Who would you say is the best team in the NFL? And if it's Buffalo, what kind of opportunity does that present for the Titans today?
It's a good question. I think the best team in the NFL right now, you can make an argument for 3 or 4 teams. But the reality is the Bills are a bona fide, not just a Super Bowl contender, but a Super Bowl, maybe not the Super Bowl favorite, but one of the top favorites. They've got it all. They've got a really good defense. They've got a deep roster. Brandon Beane's done a phenomenal job as the general manager of the Bills, and Allen, really a quarterback, is really sort of symbolizes the Bills. A guy who was drafted out of Wyoming, had a reputation of not being very accurate, but he's made himself into a terrific NFL quarterback. And right now they've got the receiving core with Diggs and with Sanders and Dawson Knox at tight end. I mean, they've got all the weapons. And defensively, they've got a deep defensive line. They've got Milano back at linebacker. There really aren't a lot of weaknesses on this team.
That takes us to second down.
Second down.
Tennessee Titans are 10th in the league in offense, points scored, and yet since the first game of the year and the second game when A.J. Brown didn't catch the football, they have not played with their full complement of guys. And if you want to include Josh Reynolds, they haven't played with their full complement of guys yet this season. In fact, this will be the first game that we expect active for the Titans. Julio Jones back from injury, A.J. Brown back from his injury, although on a pitch count, Derrick Henry at running back, Anthony Ferkser at tight end, Josh Reynolds, Chester Rogers, you name it. We spent a lot of time this offseason, Mark, talking about an elite offense. So far, they haven't done it yet. What has to happen for them to be able to turn the corner against the number one defense in the league?
Well, they've got to be more balanced. They can't totally rely on Derrick Henry. This is a team that we thought was going to be multifaceted. And getting Julio Jones back and hopefully A.J. Brown a little bit healthier will allow them to throw the football and open things up on the line of scrimmage for Henry. Absolutely. And, it's going to help Tannehill, too, in terms of protection. And they need a little more production, just a little production from the tight end position. I think John Robinson's biggest offseason mistake, not addressing that area of the team, because Anthony Ferkser has not been very good this year. Mm-hmm. Swaim has been – I don't even know why he's on the roster, to be honest with you.
He is not an NFL player.
His blocking, which he's on the team for, has been terrible. So, I don't know. We might see Darrington Evans tonight. He could be an element we haven't seen yet. But they've got to be more than Derrick Henry on offense.
What do you make of A.J. Brown and Julio Jones right now and the fact that they've been injured and they're kind of both coming back from injuries?
Well, two guys that are a little banged up, but that's 95% of the guys in the NFL. But we're going to have to find out, just exactly what that means. And, A.J. Brown doesn't have the pressure, of a defense, totally concentrating on him. It would be nice to get, some production from their complementary players, like a Josh Reynolds, somebody like that, and some of the other receivers that they're going to put out there. I just think the Titans have to be a little more balanced on offense if they expect to have success tonight against Buffalo.
I have one theory. I do not think the Buffalo Bills are going to let Derrick Henry get going early. Like, they're going to stack the box. They're going to, expect 1 and 2 yard runs early in the football game.
And this is a defense that allows 3.7 yards per rush. So, this is not a team that is easily run on. And the other question is, Jarrett, the health of the Titans' offensive line.
Yep.
How healthy is Roger Saffold? Can he handle a whole game? Their other options at guard are not great. And right now, can Quesenberry hold up? At right tackle. The Titans were kind of dealt a blow earlier in the week, so a lot of question marks about their about their maybe not their star players, but their other players on offense.
That takes us to third down.
Third down.
The third down defense, Mark Howard, has been better, but they haven't gotten turnovers. Last year, the Titans defense 24th in the league in points allowed. This year, under Shane Bowen, 24th in points allowed. Christian Fulton placed on IR today. He is out for this game. Amani Hooker returns. They're getting some pressures. They're getting some sacks, but it doesn't feel like the Titans defense, which got torched by Laviska Shenault for a play and James Robinson for 149 yards last Sunday. It looks like the defense may be going in the wrong direction.
Well, pressure, I think is going to be one of the things the Titans need tonight. You rush Allen, you rush him a little bit. He starts throwing the ball off balance and makes bad throws. Starts dumping the ball off, checking down. Keep him in the pocket. He's a mobile quarterback. He's dangerous when he's outside of the pocket. And we're going to have to see Bud Dupree earning his paycheck this week. I think this is one game they really need him to show up.
I wonder this question, and we talked about it last week. How much longer for Bowen? These 4 games, Bills, Chiefs, Colts, Rams, this could be it for Bowen if the defense doesn't get any better. They lead the league in big plays allowed.
Well, it's funny. You had a bullet out for Downing before you had for Bowen.
No.
And Downing has turned out to be actually pretty good as offensive coordinator.
Caroline, back me up on this. I have never been out on Downing or down on Todd Downing.
What are you kidding me?
Look at her. She's saying yes.
No, come on.
I have been neutral on Todd Downing the whole time. In fact, that's the only word that I use to describe my feelings for Todd Downing is neutral. I am not pro him. I am not anti him. I am neutral.
I don't think Mike Vrabel is going to pull the rug out from under Shane Bowen, given the hand that he's dealt with injuries and everything else. Not that they'll use that as an excuse, but I don't think you can make a fair evaluation of a guy, who hasn't had Dupree in, really the whole season and has had injuries in the secondary. We're going to see Caleb Farley tonight. It's big boy time for Caleb Farley. It's a good thing that Hooker's back because Farley's going to need some safety help. We'll talk to Teron Davenport about that. I think that's an interesting storyline going into tonight. But I just don't see it. First of all, it's not a team that's like 1-5. Their defense has not started well, but there have been some mitigating circumstances. And at least in my opinion, I don't see a change in coordinators as really being the fix here. I could be wrong.
That takes us to 4th down.
4th down.
4th and final down reserved for special teams. Brett Kern looks to make his return as the Titans punter, I believe, today. Actually, he may have been placed on IR. It may be Johnny Townsend. Special teams, not an unmitigated disaster, which is a nice step up for them.
Well, you had Ackerman on the unemployment line.
Oh, I'd fire him 2-3 years ago. I'm still ready to fire him. I mean, he's still there, but he needs to go. He's needed to go.
Okay.
Your thoughts on the Titans special teams? Last year when they beat Buffalo, Khalif Raymond had a 40-yard punt return that set up a Titans touchdown. I don't see the Titans getting a 40-yard punt return today.
No, I don't either. But it'd be nice if Brett Kern is back tonight.
Is this the game where you think Vrabel brings out the fake punt like he did with Kevin Byard in the Texan game a couple of years ago?
Well, in just looking at this, from a macro point of view, these are the type of games that Mike Vrabel seems to show his best side. Mm-hmm. He does, the old Chris Berman line of nobody circles the wagons better than the Buffalo Bills. But really, the Titans circling the wagons under Mike Vrabel have been pretty good. And I think by and large, it seems to bring out the best in Vrabel and his coaching staff. He seems to get through a singular message that resonates with his players, and they respond. I actually think this is a really good spot for the Titans. You're going to laugh at me when I tell you that, but I think it's a great spot for the Titans. Everybody's talking about the Bills and revenge and all that. I think what the Bills have done the last 3 games, very hard to sustain. 2 weeks in a row on primetime. Again, after the Chiefs win, to me, this is a better be careful game.
I actually agree, and I'll say this, because the Mike Vrabel special is to lose a game you have no business losing like the Jets, and then win a game you have no business winning like the Bills. That is the Mike Vrabel special. Coming up on the other side, we'll take a look at the Titans offense. Who's in, who's out? We'll get to that later coming up as we are live from Rock Bottom downtown. It is the pregame show. Mark Howard, Jared Stillman, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Hey Nashville, Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee here, inviting you to tune in on ESPN 94.9 every Monday at 6 p.m. for the Commodore Hour, providing you with exclusive insights on Vanderbilt athletics.
The 2021 Major League Soccer season isn't over yet, Nashville. Are you in? There are just 2 regular season home matches remaining as we make our final push for a playoff spot. Don't miss the action on Wednesday, October 20th at 7:30 p.m. against the Columbus Crew, or catch the last regular season match of the season on Sunday, November 7th at 2:30 p.m. against New York Red Bulls at Nissan Stadium. Come be a part of the most unique sports experience in Nashville. Tickets are on sale now from just $22 at NashvilleSC.com. Everyone in.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe. Sign up at BetMGM and enjoy the thrill of victory on your very first bet. The King of Sportsbooks welcomes you to Showtime with the Lock of the Year. Simply place a $10 moneyline wager on either Buffalo or Tennessee. If either team scores a touchdown, you'll win $200 in free bets, regardless of your bet's outcome. All you have to do is use the bonus code 1025GAME200 when you make your first bet to take advantage of this offer. Enjoy football like never before with BetMGM's live betting options, boosted odds specials, and daily promotions at your fingertips all season long. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com. Use that code 1025GAME200 to win $200 in free bets if either Buffalo or Tennessee scores a touchdown. It's that simple. Nothing beats a W at BetMGM. New customer offer. Paid in free bets. You must be 21 years or older. Must be in Tennessee. Visit BetMGM.com for a full list of terms and conditions. For gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Blood Assurance, the area's only nonprofit community blood center, announces the opening of their new blood center at 600A Fraser Drive in Cool Springs. Now Williamson County has a new, convenient, comfortable, state-of-the-art blood center for donors to give the gift of life. Blood Assurance centers are the only facilities in Middle Tennessee where all blood donated goes to help many of our area local hospitals. To view the center's hours and to make an appointment, visit bloodassurance.org/schedule. Give life, give blood, give local.
Choosing the right window treatments for your living space is serious business. Why struggle on your own when you can have the expertise of a seasoned design consultant in the comfort of your home, free of charge? For over 40 years, 3 Day Blinds has been making sure treatments have the perfect look to fit your style. We bring the showroom to you. We design, we measure, we install, and you relax. Right now, get 50% off the second treatment of select blind shades or drapery. Schedule your free, no-obligation in-home design consult. Visit 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
What are the keys to victory on the offensive side of the ball for the two-tone blue? Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard go inside the playbook. Brought to you by E2 Roofing. This is the NFL pregame on Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Inside the offensive playbook is presented by E2 Roofing. Trust the roofers with integrity. E2 Roofing, a veteran-owned and operated local Nashville roofer. We all got a scare yesterday when the Titans made an addition to their injury report. A.J. Brown questionable with an illness. I think we all know that he's going to play. But the Tennessee Titans last year, 5 of 5 in the red zone against the Buffalo Bills. Ryan Tannehill did not throw for 200 yards. And after the game, a Tuesday night win, there was talk nationally about was Ryan Tannehill an MVP candidate. So that's what they did last year. A lot of short fields set up by turnovers and a punt return, but they did take it to the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills have the #1 scoring defense in the NFL. Julio's back. Mark Howard, how do we feel about the Titans' offense today against this Buffalo defense?
Well, as far as the receivers are concerned, especially Brown and Julio Jones, Titans have to utilize the physicality of Brown and Julio against their corners, against Levi Wallace, Tre'Davious White, and the rest. And that's where the Titans' advantage lies. It's gonna really be interesting to see how much of a downfield game the Titans offense is going to have. But I think with the intermediate routes, I think A.J. Brown and Julio Jones have a huge advantage. And again, I think that's where the Titans have to make some hay.
I have a theory, which is I think that Buffalo is going to sell out to stop the run today early. And that means that the Titans are going to have to use the passing game to set up the run. I am worried about their ability to protect Ryan Tannehill, though. How do the Titans go about doing that?
With some help. That's what they've been doing. They've been shipping. They're trying to help Quessenberry. Taylor Lewan has to have a good game, and the interior line has to have a good game, and that's been lacking at times. So we'll see what happens. But again, the Titans, protection this year has not been good.
No, it has not.
And Ty Downing has had to scheme around it, and I think he's really done a good job. I don't know what he can do to make that offensive line better. I think they've been in max protect a few times, but you do that, you limit the amount of guys you can send out. And again, Jared, and it just really bothers me, their lack of productivity, at tight end. Michael Pruitt is really their best tight end this year, and that's a guy that they let walk away. And he got cut by San Francisco. Mm-hmm. So Swaim and Ferkser have not done a good job, and that's got to change a little bit at that position.
So my bigger issue when they made the trade for Julio was what they were investing in Julio when they didn't have a tight end. Like, they didn't have a tight end, and they didn't have a right tackle. And they went out and got a second wide receiver, and I was like, okay, but who's playing tight end? Who cares? Ferkser. You remember Delaney Walker said he'd be an elite tight end this year, and Kevin Byard said he could be a top flight guy. And I remember thinking in my head and hearing Floyd and him just saying, yeah, he's not a starter. And being like, well, what do you mean he's not a starter? He's not a starter. And Ferkser was never a starter. You brought this point up earlier. I don't know why Swaim's in the NFL. Like, he couldn't make the 1-15 Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know why he's in the NFL. He should not be in the NFL, or at least he shouldn't be your starting tight end. I do think this, though. In order to get the passing game going to set up the run, and you're going to need play action, you're going to have Derrick Henry pass protect today, and you're going to have to hit a lot of things short early on to get the Bills into manageable second and third down situations.
Derrick Henry's actually been decent in pass pro this year. It's been the other backs.
He got Tannehill killed at the Jets.
He did. He's largely been decent. But you're right. But you cannot expect. But if you're going to sit there and worry about Derrick Henry's blocking, that's that's something.
I've had some old coaches that follow the Titans pretty closely, and really respected coaches that have told me that Derrick Henry in pass protection, the things that they need him to know in pass protection, it's too much to put on his plate, combined with the fact that they want him to run the ball 30 times a game.
Well, and that's what thus, he's been labeled a two-down back, and everybody thinks that's an insult. It really isn't an insult. He's gotten better as a receiver, but listen, he's not in there for his blocking. Let's be honest here. Be great if he could pass protect well, but that's not the part of his skill set.
But don't you think they need to use the pass to set up the run today?
No doubt, yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, you look at Tannehill's history, and his passing percentage out of play action is phenomenal. It's over 70%. Mm-hmm. So of course you got to use that. So yeah, no doubt about that. But he also needs some help from his offensive line, and that's been very frustrating.
What do you think about the receivers, Jones and Brown versus Tre'Davious White and Levi Wallace?
I think again, both Julio Jones and A.J. Brown are big and physical, and they present a challenge, to the Bills cornerbacks. Bills have two good safeties. You can't discount that. And, you're going to probably, see some safety help with Poyer, and I forgot the other.
Micah Hyde.
Micah Hyde, that's right. The other safety. And the other thing about the Bills' defense that scares me is they got Milano back, who is essentially the quarterback of that defense. So, Buffalo is a team that, like I said, doesn't have a ton of weaknesses, but I think the Titans can score some points on them tonight.
I look at this and I think to myself, if Buffalo can get the pass rush going early and smell blood in the water, then you're in trouble.
Yes.
That's when you're in trouble. Because that's what the Jets did. They smelled it early. They got a sack on the first possession, and I think they started to say, hey, we can get after these guys. If Buffalo starts to think they can do that tonight, I think the Titans are in a world of hurt. And I don't think that they can allow you to do that. So that's where I'm like, these quick throws, I want to see a lot of crossing routes and slants early on. Get the ball out of Tannehill's hands quickly. I don't care if it's a pass play for a 4 or 5 yard gain, as long as it keeps it like 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5, and things like that you can keep Derrick Henry on the field.
Well, and it's, again, you want to keep the chains moving tonight if you're the Titans. This becomes imperative. I know it's a cliche every game because every offense needs to keep the chains moving. But, you've got to be able to do that. You've got to stay out of 3rd and long if you're the Titans, because that's where the Bills have you. Gregory Rousseau, we were rhapsodizing about him during the draft. A guy that a lot of people worried would be a one-hit wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Would be, somebody like Dodds, who the Titans drafted, who had that one great year. But Rousseau has been really good as an edge setter against the run. He's done a good job rushing the passer, but he's been even more of a plus for them against the run. And he's going to be one of the guys who's probably going to be in Derrick Henry's grill.
You know what kills me, going back to the draft? And not the fact that the Titans drafted somebody who has barely played for him yet. And that does kill me. But what kills me is we used to do, the draft every year, and we'd have Floyd's top Titans targets. And so he'd give you, going into draft night, 5 targets that if they were available, here's who he wants in what order. And in 2020, he had A.J. Terrell going, as his first target. He went off the board early to Atlanta. His second target was available at 28, where the Titans took Isaiah Wilson. And he had Wilson as his 5th target. So it wasn't like he thought Wilson was a bum. He had Trayvon Diggs as his second Titans target. And the Titans got to that pick. Trayvon Diggs was available. And they did not take Trayvon Diggs. And that kills me. Kills me.
Well, you get to see his brother tonight.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
And that's the thing you got to respect about Brandon Beane, because he was already loaded at wide receiver, and he goes out and gets Stephon Diggs. Pays a hefty price from the Vikings, but it's been a nice payout. And he's got Emmanuel Sanders, who's been to Super Bowls with 3 different teams, and a guy who can give you a lot of problems. So Buffalo on that side of the ball, definitely, it can be a headache.
Coming up on the other side, we'll flip the script. We'll take a look at the Titans' defense. That, of course, presented by E2 Roofing. That's coming up next. We're live at Rock Bottom downtown. Mark Howard, Jared Stillman. It's the pregame show on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Robbie Stanley.
That size and that speed just doesn't grow on trees. That can be something that you could really turn into.
Joe Rexrode.
Just hold out and somebody will call in the bad signal.
Get your morning started with Robbie and Rexrode every weekday from 6 to 10. Presented by Volunteer State Bank on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Saturday means college football, so put on your game face, then grab an ice-cold Dos Equis. Dos Equis tastes light, finishes clean, and will never let you down. Like a friend that defected to your rival team. Pick up a pack wherever you buy beer, and not nearly enough snacks. Dos Equis, a proud sponsor of college football. Get a dose. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2021. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hey, it's Jared. A lot of guys don't really think about the daily use that they have for their sheets. They think like, oh yeah, they're sheets. It's not that big of a deal. And then you sleep on bad sheets and you realize, I want to make sure that I go ahead and get the best sheets I can. That's why I'm here to tell you about my friends at Bull & Branch. If you dream of a comfortable sheet at a price that will not keep you up all night, look no further than Bull & Branch. I don't want you to sleep on one of those ones where you get a rash or you turn over all night or you just are miserable when you wake up in the morning. That's why I love my Bull & Branch sheets. I absolutely love. They have all the different colors and they're so comfortable. It feels like I'm sleeping on a cloud. I absolutely love the signature hem sheets from Bull & Branch. Experience the best sheets you've ever felt at bullandbranch.com. Get 15% off your first set of sheets when you use the promo code Jared at checkout. That's Bull & Branch, BOLL, and branch.com. Promo code Jared.
Bank of England Mortgage has been helping Americans live the dream of homeownership for over 100 years. Since their humble beginnings in England, Arkansas in 1898, they've grown into a nationwide mortgage lender with 141 offices across 45 states, including 3 convenient locations right here in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at BOE1214.com. Bank of England Mortgage is a division of Bank of England Mortgage. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS 418-481.
It's football season, and Spring Hill Heating and Cooling is here to serve you. If your AC or heater is old and inefficient, you can replace it with up to 60 months no monthly interest financing for qualified buyers. That's right, 60 months no monthly interest financing for qualified buyers. One of the many ways you can save at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. They offer 6 months no interest financing available on repairs. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, offering premium service without the premium price. Visit springhillac.com or call them at 615-778-8855.
What are the keys to victory on the defensive side of the ball for the two-tone blue? Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard go inside the playbook. Brought to you by E2 Roofing. This is the NFL pregame on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Inside the Playbook is brought to you by E2 Roofing. Trust the roofers with integrity. E2 Roofing, a veteran-owned and operated local Nashville roofer. Mark Howard, the Titans defense, correct me if I'm wrong, I think has gotten worse week to week throughout the course of the season. The first week against Arizona, I thought that they played okay. Offense set them up in bad situations. Kyler Murray made some great plays to DeAndre Hopkins, who's a great player. They got a big interception that got him back in the game in the second half. I thought defense was fine first week. Second week, I thought defense was good, but they gave up a couple of busted coverages for touchdowns, but when push came to shove, they got pressure on Russell Wilson, and they didn't let the Seahawks win the game. Third week against Indianapolis with a skeleton crew, defense played okay. Fourth week against the Jets, I thought they were embarrassing. Last week against Jacksonville, I thought they were equally as bad, but the offense wasn't as bad for it to stick out. Now, you shouldn't be going in the wrong direction when you play the Jets in Jacksonville. I am worried tonight about the way where the defense is going, and I'm worried about Josh Allen, and I'm worried about Stephon Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley and Dawson Knox and the number one offense in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm worried about that Buffalo receiving core too, because you're right. It is deep, and you named all their receivers. You talk about Diggs, you talk about Sanders, you talk about Cole Beasley, and the rest of their crew, and it's pretty impressive. And you add Dawson Knox into that equation. Gabriel Davis is really the other receiver who's lost playing time even after a pretty good rookie season. Titans are going to have their hands full, and Caleb Farley is going to get thrown into the deep end. He is not wading in. So this could be interesting. And listen, your pessimism, I kid you a lot, but not looking good against two less than formidable offenses, the Jags and the Jets, does not inspire a lot of confidence.
Here's what bothers me about the Titans. And I know, you can have it whichever way. But here's what really bothers me. And it's that I feel like I see them getting worse on a week-to-week basis, or maybe not even getting worse. I see them allowing big plays that a good NFL team should never allow. And then they come out and talk all week, and then they go out the next week, and they allow the same big plays. And I'm like, wait a minute. how can you keep having the same mistakes on a week-to-week basis? And I don't see the Titans improving it, and that's what drives me crazy.
Yeah, I think they've been propped up a little bit by a pretty easy schedule. Because as it turns out, winning at Seattle doesn't look as good now maybe as it did a few weeks ago. But with all that being said, I still think that this defense can play better. And I still think that this defense has been operating incomplete. So I'm not so much giving them a pass, but at least I can reconcile why, they've had some struggles. And hopefully, that they got a little bit healthier on that side of the ball, though losing Christian Fulton, definitely hurts them.
What would be your plan for stopping the Bills?
Well, last year they played a lot of zone, and we'll talk to Teron Davenport about this. They had a lot of success playing zone. I don't know if they have the personnel for that, this time around, but that seems to be the plan. And again, they can't allow the big play, and they've got to put pressure on Josh Allen. Again, Josh Allen under pressure, does make some mistakes, and that has been a story unto itself. And you look at the Bills, and you look at a franchise that's done a phenomenal job drafting. They've made the right trades. They've really put together, a good football team. They just missed in the playoffs the last couple of years, and you wondered if that team had, hit its ceiling. But then we see, they've made some additions. They just keep getting better. And I think, again, you're looking at a team that could end up in L.A. playing in the Super Bowl this year. Wouldn't surprise me a bit. But as far as the Titans slowing them down, they've got to put some pressure on the quarterback.
Would you be willing to sacrifice maybe giving up the big play if it meant that you could bring extra blitzers to Josh Allen?
Yes.
And see, that's what I think they have to do today.
Yeah.
And I don't think if they do that, I don't think they have a chance. Because if Allen can stand back there, I think game's over. So I'm willing, and I know this is going to sound crazy, if Farley ends up man for man with Stephon Diggs and gets beat for a touchdown, fine. At this point, let him play, let him learn, let him get baptized by fire. But I think they've got to send extra rushers at Josh Allen today.
Yeah, you can't play scared. It's the old line. If you're scared, get a dog.
But the Titans do play scared. They back 10 yards off a receiver on third and
not so much play scared. They play conservatively sometimes.
You know me. I think it's time. I think Shane Bowen, I think things will be so bad over the next 4 games. I think they'll win one of them. But I think things will be so bad on the defensive side of the ball between Allen, Mahomes, Wentz not so much, and Stafford that the fans will be so loud and demanding a change that John Robinson might have to pull I fired the last guy over not changing the coordinator
There's
card.
no way the fans
Put Jim Schwartz in there.
Yeah. The fans are not going to dictate the moves of this franchise. And if you listen to the fans, you're an idiot. I mean, seriously.
No,
you're an absolute idiot.
But a lot of people listen to the fans.
I don't care what the fans say.
They trade for Julio Jones. They trade for Julio Jones because the fans said trade for Julio Jones.
They didn't get Julio Jones to satisfy the fans. They got Julio Jones because they thought he could help them. Come on.
You don't think that the fans' excitement is what pushed it over the top?
I think there are some moves that you can make that will generate fan excitement, but I don't think you make moves to excite your fans. No, because if the move doesn't work, it suddenly boomerangs against you. So no, I don't. If you do that, you are not a competent executive. and the guy that you used to work with would have never done that.
But he would have never traded for Julio.
Well, maybe he wouldn't. Well, that's not necessarily the case. You don't know. The NFL's different now than when Floyd was the general manager. You just didn't see trades like that a lot of times. He went out and got Carl Pickens. He didn't pay a lot for him. But, if you've got a team that you think is close to being Super Bowl worthy.
No, I get it. But when you do that, you trade for Kevin Carter and he goes to the Pro Bowl. That's when you do it. You don't trade for Julio Jones and then guy's hurt and you're paying him $15 million and he says second round pick.
All right. Well, you're already judging the trade, so.
You called it a dog last week.
I said it could be I said it's looking a lot like a dog. It's how can you call it a dog when we're 5 games into the season?
I would agree. And there's a rule that I promise that I won't get mad about something that hasn't happened yet, which is the one thing that I always try to do. But I will say this. I do believe that after the next 4 games, it will be abundantly clear that Bowen's the wrong guy for the job.
I don't know. And we don't know what's going to happen the next few games. So let it play out.
What are the % chance in your head that Bowen is canned in the next month?
Oh, I think a small percentage.
And that Jim Schwartz becomes the defensive coordinator.
I think Bowen would retain the title, and Schwartzy might help him more before you'd see, a public change at coordinator. I just know, and listen, I could be completely wrong here. Jim Schwartz didn't come here to be the defensive coordinator.
Sure.
I don't think that's what he wanted. And he's got other family concerns. He's got other things, that he wants to do. I get, if asked, I'm sure he would do it. But I don't think, that's the deal here. And I think they view whatever's going on that side of the ball as a collaborative effort.
Do you think Schwartz works the amount of hours that a coordinator would work right now or no?
I have no idea. I haven't, and when Jimmy was here the first time, we were pretty close. But I'm just not out there. So I really haven't had a chance, to talk to him. But I don't think he's keeping banker's hours over there.
I'm just saying. I wish upon a star. And I wish the Titans defense can shut down Josh Allen today. Coming up next, who's in, who's out? There's a big name out for the Titans. We'll get to that as Monday Night Football is an hour and a half away, less so. We'll talk to TD. We'll talk to Chris Sanders. We'll have picks to click. And, of course, we'll make our game day picks. That's all coming up next. We are live from Rock Bottom, downtown. It's the pregame show on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Coming up next hour on NFL Pregame, Jared, Chris, and Mark make their picks to click and final predictions for the upcoming game. We're inching closer to kickoff, and you're listening to NFL Pregame on Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey Nashville, we think you deserve the very best driving experience, and now is the time for our Season of Change CPO event at Mercedes-Benz of Music City. When you purchase a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you're backed by the remaining new vehicle limited warranty. Once that expires, the certified pre-owned limited warranty goes into effect, providing an additional 12 months of coverage with unlimited miles. See all the perks and exceptional offers for your certified pre-owned vehicle from Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Red Hot Chili Peppers are back. Anthony, Chad, Flea, and John live on stage. World Tour 2022 with very special guests, The Strokes and Thundercat. Nissan Stadium, Friday, August 12th, 2022. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Check more at RedHotChiliPeppers.com.
Most shoppers today fall into one of 2 categories. You could be like Dave, who settles for nothing but the finest.
I drive only European luxury sedans, wear the finest Italian leather shoes. My shirts are custom made, and I expect white glove service from those I do business with. I appreciate world-class brands, and at this point in my life, I just don't want to compromise on quality, no matter what I buy.
Or you might be like Steve, whose goal is to always get the best deal.
I'm frugal. I'm all about finding value. I want the best price, and I don't mind going out of my way to get it. I work hard for my money. I just want to make sure when I buy something, I can have confidence in knowing I'm not overpaying for it. Stop being cheap. It's being smart.
You never see these 2 guys in the same store, except for one.
That's why I shop at Genesis Diamonds.
Genesis Diamonds is that rare shopping experience where you can have it all. Uncompromising luxury and unbeatable value. Exceptional service and the guaranteed best price in America. A premium experience and a smart purchase. This is where the best of all worlds come together. Genesis Diamonds, voted best jewelry store year after year. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here. The NBA is back, and FanDuel is tipping things off by hooking all customers up with a risk-free same-game parlay bet. Place your first same-game parlay bet of the NBA season, and if you don't win, you'll get a refund in-site credit. Combine multiple bets from the same game into one wager for bigger paydays, and you can build your parlay with spreads, the money line, total points, player props. Everything is on the table. The Lakers, very interesting team this year. You've got LeBron James. You've got Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, Anthony Davis. All these different names on the same team. That could be a big option for you, but you take it any way you want to take it. And if you're new to FanDuel, sign up with promo code ROB to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Make the most out of the NBA season and download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to bet the NBA risk-free. Just use promo code ROB so they know that I sent you. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued is not withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Offer ends on October 21st, 2021. Max refund of $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. It's game day for the Two-Tone Blue. This is NFL Pregame with Jared Stillman, forever receiver Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard. Brought to you by E2 Roofing, FanDuel Sportsbook, Freedom Tire Guys, Hillside Medical Clinic, Parman Tractor and Equipment, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, Social Furniture, and TriStar Moving. NFL Pregame starts now on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
And we are an hour and change away from kickoff at Nissan Stadium between the Titans and the Buffalo Bills. We are live at Rock Bottom on the rooftop. Jared Stillman, Mark Howard here on the pregame show. Bills Mafia well represented in downtown Nashville.
It's really been incredible with that franchise. They've got the oldest stadium that I remember going to when I was in college in the 70s, when I was a runner for NBC, running food up to the press box, to the announcers.
Who was doing games back then for NBC?
Oh, gosh.
Dan Deerdorf?
Don Crickey.
Oh, Don Crickey, he's old.
Yeah.
Reese.
Jay Randolph, Charlie Jones.
Might be a little bit before my time.
All very nice men. And, yeah.
The Bills and the Browns are the two fan bases that show out no matter how good their team is or how bad their team is. I do not look at all these Bills fans that are here downtown. I do not look at this as some fair weather thing. I look at this as like hey, we'd be here if we were 1-4, and instead we're 4-1 and the best team in the league, which I can appreciate.
Well, they're a great fan base, and I hope the Pagulas aren't screwing around with them and just, get a stadium deal done and stay in Buffalo.
Oh, they'll stay in Buffalo.
Because the fact that they're even playing that card really kind of makes me sick. My daughter lives in, upstate New York, and her family, her husband, and my grandkids are like diehard Bills fans. But I mean, that is a great fan base, and they stuck by that team, through some really lean years. Their history is kind of star-crossed, with the 4 Super Bowl appearances and 0 for 4. But through the years, just unbelievable.
Time now to take a look at the inactive list. Inactive list and Mike Vrabel's Key to the Game, brought to you every week by the Hillside Medical Clinic. For the Titans, inactive today, linebacker Monty Rice, who, Mark Howard, you'll remember, I absolutely lost my marbles over when they drafted on draft night and has done nothing so far for the Titans. Outside linebacker John Simon, who I don't know why they brought him back if Vrabel was so keen on bringing him in there, but there is an interesting element to that. Running back Mekhi Sargent and wide receiver Josh Reynolds. Reynolds a healthy scratch for the 3rd time this season.
Josh Reynolds has turned out to be not such a great signing, but then again, he has been outshined really by Chester Rogers and, at least in camp, Marcus Johnson, who went back to being hurt. I don't know if that's really fair. first of all, John Simon is a depth guy. He's not a guy that they expected, to come in and play a lot of snaps anyway. But I think he's a good guy to have on the roster because you can never have enough pass rush.
Well, here's what the Simon thing means to me. And the Reynolds thing means to me that I don't care about that for right now. I'm more worked up about the Reynolds thing that they went into the NFL draft with A.J. Brown at wide receiver. They thought Josh Reynolds was their number 2. They didn't draft a receiver until the 4th round, and it was a guy they drafted that they've already cut. And so that was their plan until they got Julio Jones, and that is a terrible plan. So that bothers me. The fact that their plan at wide receiver was Josh Reynolds, who can't get active, and their plan at tight end was the mess that they have right there right now. That bothers me. The other thing that bothers me is that on Simon, or doesn't bother me about Simon, the thing that I notice about Simon is that means Bud Dupree is in, Bud Dupree is playing, and Bud Dupree I expect to be ready to go get the quarterback. He came out early to start the season, and he said, hey, I wasn't ready. I rushed myself back. It was too soon. Well, if you're back out there right now, then now it's time to go get the quarterback. And if you don't, then I'm going to start calling you, Jadeveon Dupree, because that's what it's going to look like.
All fair, when it comes to Dupree. But again, I'm not going to, say that after tonight. I think Dupree has badly wanted to play and really probably, pushed it too much on the front end, which has kind of hurt him in terms of coming back. But you just look at the way these rosters are constructed, Jared. And John Robinson has chased a lot of his mistakes. Yeah, it's pretty amazing the Titans are this good, even with the mistakes, that J-Rob has made. The right tackle, the fact that that's just been an absolute disaster area, that he's drafted 2 guys, one guy who's, I guess on the Giants practice squad, and another guy who still is not even close to seeing the light of day. And if he does see the light of day, it's going to be a guard and not right tackle, which
he is active today, though.
Well, yeah, it could be because he has to be.
Josh Reynolds can't make it, but he can.
Because Ty Sombrello decided, Ty Sombrello retired this week.
He literally quit the team, just like.
Well, he was hurt. I mean, and he retired. I mean, he didn't. I don't know if he just woke up and said, I'm done.
Well, the report was that he was sick of Vrabel, and he didn't like Keith Carter, and he was tired of bailing out Taylor Lewan, which I kind of figured was the job of a backup anyways.
That was his job.
But that I guess he just was sick of the Titans, and he just decided to leave.
Well, why didn't he just ask to be released?
I guess he decided to retire. I don't know.
Okay, well.
But that's what the reporting was. My theory is he thought he was better than both tackles, and he didn't like Keith Carter. That's my theory.
Okay. Other guys have seemed to like Keith Carter, so go figure. All I know is right now the Titans' offensive line better play better tonight, or it could get ugly.
What do you think? Oh, I forgot to read the inactives for the Bills. What am I doing over here? Out for the Bills today, running back Matt Breida, defensive end A.J. Epinesa, offensive tackle Tommy Doyle, defensive tackle Vernon Butler, and defensive lineman Carlos Boogie Basham. So
Epinesa was a guy the Titans were thinking about drafting.
And so was Boogie Basham in the first. I think they took him in the 2nd round, maybe?
Tommy Doyle, big offensive lineman that they really like.
So a couple of inactives, Harrison Phillips in, Boogie Basham out for the Bills. Time now for Mike Vrabel's Key to the Game, also presented by Hillside Medical Clinic, and it is the health trending in the right direction for the Titans.
Well, it'll help the entire team that, we feel like we're getting our, anytime that we can get guys back or what we feel like are our best players, that would be great. It'd be wonderful.
So they are getting a lot of guys back here. Mark Howard, I'm not going to say that you have made the excuse for the Titans about injuries, but you've brought up the injuries before. Are we getting to the no excuse zone with the Titans as far as having a healthy complement of players available for them in a big game?
Well, Jared, I think everybody around the league has injuries, so I'm not going to use that as a major excuse. Obviously, Julio Jones, that was not a good one. losing Luan for a game. But this is where you've got to build your roster. This is where you've got to have depth. And you look at Buffalo, and they've had great success in the draft. They're actually picking up fifth-year options. Which is you look at the Titans, and like I said before, it's pretty amazing with some of their draft whiffs that they've gotten this far. But pro scouting has been very good for the Titans. John Robinson's organization has done a good job of bringing in guys off the street, churning the bottom part of that roster, and bringing in some football players that they've been able to use. And he's and that's been kind of interesting. But it's been hit or miss for him. Some of his hits have been good. The Tannehill trade, for all the transactions that he made, the Tannehill trade has really saved their bacon.
Well, Chad Withrow said the other day, which I actually agree with, which is that right now Robinson has made a bunch of bad moves, but they're balanced out by the Tannehill trade and the Derrick Henry pick.
Yeah.
And I think that ultimately, if you draft the best running back of all time, which Derrick Henry's probably never going to be, but as of right now, his statistics say that he is all-time great caliber right now, you're going to win football games, and that kind of pick is going to save you when you compare him to the other bad picks.
No, absolutely. I think Teron Davenport wrote it this week that if Derrick Henry rushes for 2,000 yards again, he's going to the Hall of Fame. And unless he just absolutely falls off a cliff, he's going to get to 10,000 yards or more, which is a benchmark. But whatever the case, Robinson's big hits have been home runs and grand slams. There's no question about it. But some of his whiffs have been epic. I listen, I've been following football for a long time. Isaiah Wilson, you shake your head that he never even put himself in a position to play before he got himself cut. But anyway.
Coming up next, we'll take a look into the stadium, Nissan Stadium, where TD is hanging out. We'll get his breakdown from the field. We'll do that coming up next. Chris Sanders will join us later on the pregame show. Plus, we'll take a look at the sports books and have our picks to click. We are live from Rock Bottom Brewery downtown. It is the pregame show on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The voice of reason.
I don't know how you could watch that performance and think that there was anything positive about it.
The voice of the fan.
The performance was a D-.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough. The Wave technology at Hillside Medical Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Golfers, it's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the Callaway Apex Trade-In event running now through October 31st. Bring in any of your old clubs and receive a 50% trade-in bonus towards new Apex 21 irons. The Apex, Apex Pro, and Apex DCB are designed with artificial intelligence for faster ball speeds. Swing by and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Men, what if I told you that now you're able to get testosterone replacement therapy in the comfort of your own home? No more weekly trips to the doctor's office. We come to you 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Be seen by a licensed medical professional in the privacy and comfort of your own home or office. You decide. Schedule your appointment today at CoolSpringsMDformen.com.
Choosing the right window treatments for your living space is serious business. Why struggle on your own when you can have the expertise of a seasoned design consultant in the comfort of your home, free of charge? For over 40 years, 3 Day Blinds has been making sure treatments have the perfect look to fit your style. We bring the showroom to you. We design, we measure, we install, and you relax. Right now, get 50% off the second treatment of select blinds, shades, or drapery. Schedule your free, no-obligation in-home design consult. Visit 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
Darren McFarland.
When they don't score first, they have troubles getting a W.
Darren, Donick, and Chase. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game. It's game day for the Two-Tone Blue. And we're inching closer to kickoff. This is the NFL pregame with Jared Stillman, forever receiver Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard. Now, let's get an update from the stadium with ESPN's Teron Davenport, brought to you by Freedom Tire Guys on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
We are efforting TD along. TD's appearances on the pregame show are brought to you by Freedom Tire Guys, Nashville's premier mobile tire company. Online at freedomtireguys.com. 1 hour away from kickoff for Monday Night Football. It's the Titans and the Bills. The Bills with the #1 offense in the league and the #1 defense in the league as they get set for kickoff at Nissan Stadium. As we wait on Teron, a question for you, Mark Howard, which is, what do the Titans have to lose in today's game? This does feel like a big opportunity that is in front of the Titans if they can find a way to win. But really nobody around the country is expecting the Titans to win this game, and I'm not sure we are either.
I think you get a variety of opinion about the Titans around the league. You know, for those who cover them, there are some people who believe that the best is yet to come, and there are others who feel like, you know, they're sort of a product of a pretty weak early season schedule. So I don't think the identity of this team has really been revealed yet. I think, you know, America kind of fell back in love with them after the Seattle game, but you know, you lose to the Jets, and you know, everybody's
falls out of love with you.
Yeah, everybody's going to give you that look like you lost to the Jets, man. But I think, you know, right now the Bills are the darlings in this matchup. The Bills have become, you know, box office gold, you know, for NBC and for ESPN for these primetime games. And the Titans, you know, are sort of a mystery. You know, Derrick Henry is one of the most recognizable players in pro football right now, so that becomes attractive. So in terms of framing this game, you know, and you'll see it in the broadcast tonight, it'll be more about the Bills than the Titans. The Titans will get, you know, play from Riddick and Greasy, but you'll hear a lot about the Bills. You'll hear a lot about the metamorphosis of Josh Allen, his emergence to stardom, and possibly an MVP candidate. It's a great story, and again, it's superior scouting. You know, and you look at it, and that's the way the Bills were put together. Mm-hmm. You know, you look at their draft, and there are a lot of guys that you can remember on draft night going, could be good, could be not so good. Well, a lot of those guys seem to work out for Buffalo, and they've been very aggressive in terms of going out and making trades. So you look at the way that that franchise was constructed. Sean McDermott got a lot of respect through the years, and he was viewed as a guy who was ready to be a head coach, and he's doing a heck of a job there.
What do you think, though, if the Titans win, what the reaction will be here locally about people and maybe their belief in how far this team can go? And do you think that would be warranted? Last year they crushed the Bills, and they still had a lot of holes as the season continued along. But do you think this is a measuring stick game for them?
Absolutely. I think every game's a measuring stick game. But I think this game absolutely is. The Bills of last year were not the Bills of this year. Mm-hmm. Bills of last year were a playoff team. Bills of this year were a Super Bowl contender. So, let's make that clear. But beyond that, if the Titans win this game, Jared, it's going to be one of those games that we looked at that was going to be a swing game. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like any game they have at home, I don't care who it's against, you'd like to think that the Titans are going to win. I think Indy is going to make a run. I don't think there's any question about it. I think it's going to be ugly between the Titans and Colts. It could be the race to 9 wins. I mean, who knows? But if the Titans win, people will say, they'll lose to the Chiefs next week. I mean, this is sort of a pessimistic fan base.
Wouldn't you settle for that out of court right now, though? Win this week and lose next week to the Chiefs?
I'll just take a split of the next
two games.
Yeah.
I think if you can get 2-2 over the next 4, where you've got Indianapolis in there with the Rams, if you can take 2-2 and one of them's Indy, I think everybody should settle for that right now out of court and move on with your day.
I think this game, believe it or not, is more winnable than next week. I think the Chiefs
I think the Chiefs stink.
I think the Chiefs found something yesterday, and I know Washington's not very good, but the Chiefs were not playing well, and finally in the second half at Washington, they sort of got their act together, and I worry that there'll be a carryover, this week. So I guess we'll find out.
Whose shoulders do you put today's game on? Do you look at this as a game where the coaching staff has got to out-scheme Buffalo? Do you look at it where the big-name players, the AJs, the Julios, the Henrys, the Tannehills, have to outperform the Stephon Diggs and the Josh Allens? Or do you look at this maybe as a game where somebody's got to have a great game that we're not expecting?
We need the Titans need Tannehill to have a good game. He can't turn it over. If Tannehill has a good game, if he throws effectively, if he finds Brown, if he finds Jones, if he dots the field a little bit more with the other receivers and make it easier, he'll make it easier for Derrick Henry, and the Titans can at least control the ball. I think defensively, it's pie in the sky if you expect them to shut down the Bills' offense. But I do think that, the offense, if the offense doesn't have a good night, then forget about it. If the offense scores 17 points, I just don't see how they win the game.
How many points do they need to score?
They have to score
30?
28, yeah. I'll say 28 or more.
So I think Buffalo is going to at least score 28 points to your point. Like, even a good defensive game for the Titans is probably 28 points for the Bills. I really, to your point about Tannehill, I don't think he's got to throw for 400 yards or anything like that, but I think he's got to be incredibly efficient. And to your point, no fumbles, no interceptions. Last year, the Titans turned over the Bills 3 times, and the Titans didn't turn it over at all, and they were 5 of 5 in the red zone. And the lack of Jonnu Smith, I think, is a big deal right now for the Titans, because I don't know who they count on when they get inside the red zone.
I agree with you. And, the Titans have been a team that has not been as good, in the red zone as in years past. And we all know that's a stat that, to me, goes a long way in determining how a team does in a season. So unless the Titans just absolutely have a great defense, which I don't think any of us are expecting, they've got to be better in the red zone.
If you had to say your one key today in this game for a Titan victory was, what would it be?
Jones and Brown having a good game. I just don't see any way around it. Henry could have a good game, but I still think if Jones and Brown have a good game, then I think Henry will have a good game. And I think everything sort of falls into place.
Coming up next, Chris Sanders will call in as he has been on the practice field with NBA football. We'll get Chris's thoughts on the Buffalo Bills today on Monday Night Football. And we'll have our picks to click. That's coming up next. We are live on the pregame show right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Here they come, turn 4.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe. Every Saturday morning at 9, we hit the big topics. The Ally 400, Kyle Busch, frustrated, Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, and talk to the big names.
I'll go ahead and blame you.
Oh, I think it's big.
Could go a lot of different directions right now.
I was so impressed.
How cool that's going to be.
It's Chasing Checkers, Saturday morning at 9 on ESPN 102.5 The Game, and wherever you get your podcast.
102.5 The Game has your chance to win Preds tickets all month long. Just post a picture of your radio dial set to 102.5 The Game on social media and tag the game and use hashtag TicketDash to be instantly qualified. All brought to you by Social Furniture. Shop local. Shop social.
With Fundbox, you can stop waiting and start doing. If your small business needs funds to grow, the time is now. Fundbox offers fast, easy access to small business funding up to $150,000. So hire that new employee, launch that campaign, buy that piece of equipment. Apply in minutes at fundbox.com, and you could get funding as soon as the next business day. Fundbox. Ready, set, grow. Credit line amounts, rates, and terms are based on creditworthiness and subject to change. Additional documentation may be required.
Hey, Darren McFarland here. The NBA is back, and at DraftKings Sportsbook, the authorized sports betting partner of the NBA, the key to victory is a strong starting five. New customers can bet just $5 on any NBA team to win their game, and if they do so, you win $200 in free bets. So why not make your roster Washington, 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 oh yeah, and Washington. DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also get skin in the game with the same game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Right now, use that code 1025GAME. Bet just $5 on any NBA team to win their game and win $200 in free bets. Once again, use that code 1025GAME. This week at DraftKings Sportsbook, you must be 21 years of age or older. Tennessee only. Restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman Tractor and Equipment. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Their service and parts team will get your work site up and running in no time. Parman Tractor and Equipment will come to you for service if needed. Visit ParmanTractor.com for more info. Your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer, providing totally outrageous customer service.
Richard Mosqueda spent 3 months shopping for a diamond and ended up buying one from a New York company online.
I looked online forever. I looked everywhere, and I finally found a great deal.
Well, he thought it was a great deal until he took the stone over to Genesis Diamonds to compare it with a Genesis stone.
And then I brought it here, and they gave me a better price and a better quality. Quality was so much better, and the price was so much better. You couldn't beat their price here.
So Richard boxed up the online diamond, got his money back, and bought the Genesis diamond. Not only did he get a better deal and a better diamond, he got lifetime service at no charge.
To me, there's a value to having a local place that says that we'll take care of everything. We'll clean your ring, we'll size it, and online you can't do that. And on top of that, they had the guarantees here and the warranties here were unbelievable.
Genesis Diamonds, where Nashville gets engaged.
Genesis is the best. They'll work with you, the customer service is unbelievable, and you can't beat the price.
Voted year after year as the best place in Nashville to buy an engagement ring. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
You don't need to go anywhere else, just go to Genesis.
Genesis Diamonds.
This is NFL Pregame, and it's time for Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard to make their picks to click. Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment on Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Picks to click are presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment, but we are joined now by the third member of our pregame show crew, Chris Sanders, as NBA has just gotten off the practice field I hear the wide receivers need a lot of work because their coach is holding them back. That I'm not so sure.
Their coach was not was not great in fundamentals and not a disciplined route runner.
Oh, my God.
Now,
miss you guys.
now he preaches discipline and route running.
Hey, I love you too, Mark.
So 21 years ago, the Titans had their first ever Monday night football game at Nissan Stadium. They played the Jacksonville Jaguars, and there was a bomb threat called into the stadium, and everyone had to evacuate and everything before, and it was crazy, and the Titans crushed the Jags. So, Chris Sanders, you are a Monday night veteran. What do you think of tonight, Monday night football, the big stage for the Titans against Buffalo?
I mean, it is. In my opinion, I know people's going to think I'm crazy when I think this, but I really believe that the Tennessee Titans are going to win this game, and I'm going to tell you why. Is because if you look at last year, everything was against the Titans. The Titans had 13 or 14 guys out on COVID. Everybody said they wasn't going to win. Everything was against the Tennessee Titans. And just with Mike Vrabel and that team, they're built for moments like this. They're built to go against adversity. So the same thing has happened this year. You know, you have the Buffalo Bills has the number one offense. They have the number one defense. You know, the offensive line is struggling. Everybody in the whole country doesn't believe in the Titans. So I believe the Tennessee Titans are going to come out swinging and doing an outstanding job.
So you brought this up last week, which was after the way Buffalo got embarrassed here last year. I was hopeful that Buffalo would get fat and happy because Buffalo, beat Kansas City, and everyone's telling them they're the best, and they're telling them they're the number one team in the NFL and all of this. And I was hopeful they'd get fat and happy. And then all of a sudden, they'd come in here and get too cocky. But you brought up the fact they got embarrassed last year, and I'm just afraid that they're not going to want to get embarrassed again.
I agree with you 110%. I mean, last year, you kept seeing on ESPN Josh Norman getting stiff-arm and everybody laughing. So you better believe that when camp started, when they had OTAs, they circled that game because they got embarrassed nationally. I mean, everybody was saying, the Buffalo Bills arrived. The Buffalo Bills are here. They're going to come and dominate the Tennessee Titans. And they got beat by, 26, 27 points. And they got embarrassed. They got hit in the mouth. And here's the thing that happened that I actually saw. The Tennessee Titans physically hit them in the mouth. And if you look at when they played early in the season last year, they were physically hitting people in the mouth. But the Tennessee Titans came out, punched them in the mouth, and the Buffalo Bills could not respond. You better believe it's going to be a physical game tonight, buddy.
Chris, what about Julio Jones back and A.J. Brown? And both might be on pitch counts, which is going to be interesting tonight. But just them using their physicality against the Bills' corners.
I think it's going to be huge. I mean, because that they're going to load the box to stop Derrick Henry, and that pass rush is coming. But here's the thing that Julio Jones and A.J. Brown is going to bring to the table tonight is, you're probably not going to see a lot of 5- and 6-step drops like that. You're going to see more quick passes like 3-step drop to get it to the wide receiver, get it to A.J. Brown and Julio Jones to let those guys make plays. Because if you're having a 5-step drop and a 7-step drop, that's when the defensive front is going to get to you. So I think, the key is Tannehill is just having a 3-step drop, throwing it to A.J. Brown, and let those guys run after the catch because they're physical at the line of scrimmage. They're great run after the catch. So I think that's what we're going to see with the Tennessee Titans wide receivers.
Yeah, all about Yak tonight, yards after catch.
All about Yak.
Chris, I got a theory. If they don't get to Josh Allen, it doesn't matter what they do in the secondary.
Absolutely.
So I'm fine with giving up the big play on the blitz because I don't see the defense being able to win this game if they don't try to sack the quarterback.
You know what? I went back and looked at the game last year. The Tennessee Titans got to Josh Allen a little bit, but here's what they did that was very, very good by the defensive coordinator. They didn't have a defensive coordinator, but you can say Shane Bowen, is they played a lot of nickel coverage, a lot of dime coverage, and I think they kind of confused Josh Allen in the secondary because if you look at the first series of the game last year, Josh Allen threw an interception to Kevin Byard, and that really made the momentum and set the tone of the game. And I think that he was kind of confused because you have a lot of guys in the secondary. The Josh Allen in that offense is going to have to earn 7 points as opposed to just, throwing the ball over the top or catching the ball, a dig, and running in for a touchdown. They made them earn it, and they couldn't earn it because Josh Allen wants to take the top off the defense and get the big play. But last year they couldn't do that because they played the dime package, they played the nickel package, and took those plays away and just kept everything in front and just made the tackle. So that's why I understand that the Bills have the number one offense in the league, but I think with the dime package and the nickel package, I think it's going to confuse them, and Byron and those defensive backs are going to get a couple of interceptions.
Chris, we saw them play a lot of zone last year to try to slow down the Bills' offense. Do you think that we see that again from the Titans' defense?
Absolutely. I mean, you just don't want to give up the big plays to Emmanuel Sanders and Diggs because those guys can really take the top off the defense. So I think what they're going to do is just don't give up the big play. Let Josh Allen and those wide receivers in that running back Moss have to earn it, because when you have an opponent offense like that, they want to strike fast. They want to, put fear in a defense. But when you have to earn it and you're impatient, then that's when the interceptions and the fumbles and getting to the quarterback can actually happen. So I just have a feeling. I mean, sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong, but I just got a feeling that I think the defense is going to show up. I think the secondary is going to show up. I know Fuller's not playing tonight, but I just got a feeling that you're going to see a couple of picks and see a couple of turnovers that the Tennessee Titans need.
All right, Chris, who are your picks to click in today's game?
I'm on offense. I am going with. I know I'm doing one of Floyd's things. I'm going with the whole offensive line. I mean, the offensive line has to protect. Tannehill. You got Oliver. You got Hughes. You got Edmonds. And you got Rousseau. Rousseau has 3 sacks. So I just think that the whole offensive line has to protect. So that's my pick to click for offense.
Defense.
I know I picked him last week and the week before, but I'm going with Kevin Byard again. I don't know if we can pick him again. I just think that.
Here's a good pick.
What's that?
Hey, that was a good pick.
Yeah. I don't know if we can go with him 2 times in a row, but I'm going to go with Kevin Byard again. I just think that Kevin Byard is going to get an INT. I'm not going to say he's going to get a scoop and score, but I think with Kevin Byard reading the eyes of Josh Allen, I think that Kevin Byard can have a big, big day.
Okay, now give us your final prediction for today's game, Chris. Who wins and why? We already know you got a feeling on the Titans. What's your final score today?
I would say Tennessee Titans 31, Buffalo Bills 24. And the reason why I say that, I think that the Tennessee Titans are not going to give up the big play. And if the Tennessee Titans don't, have mistakes on offense with fumbling and throwing interceptions, and just methodically go down the field, I think the Tennessee Titans win 31-24. Let's go, Titans.
There you go. Chris Sanders, fresh off the practice field. As always, saying the craziest stuff, but doing it with enthusiasm and a smile, so everybody just thinks he's the best. Chris Sanders, as always.
Gosh,
appreciate you, Chris.
You guys.
Yep.
Guys.
So Chris Sanders going with the offensive line and going with the with Kevin Byard for his pick to click. We'll catch up with Teron Davenport here momentarily, his thoughts from what he saw on the field. Mark, your picks to click today.
Well, Tannehill on offense, I just think that if he doesn't have a good night, I don't think it matters what Derrick Henry does. Mm-hmm. So that's my guy on the offensive side of the ball.
Defensive side?
Bud Dupree, show me what you got, pal. Earn your paycheck tonight.
I am ready for Bud Dupree to start making an impact. I'm going to go on the offensive side of the ball. My pick to click, I'm going to go Julio Jones. I think the reason that I'm going to go Julio Jones is because, the big-time players show up in the prime time, and I could see Julio going off. Defensively, Jeffrey Simmons. I think if they're going to get to Josh Allen, it's going to be up the middle with Simmons and Autry. So I'm going to go Simmons today to make.
And I'll tell you what, Josh Allen, very vulnerable against A-gap blitzes, a rush up the middle. And I guarantee you that that's going to be, one of the cornerstones of Shane Bowen's game plan tonight.
Teron Davenport joins us as always, presented by FreedomTireGuys.com at Nissan Stadium. TD, I'm going to ask you the big question. How did AJ look? How did Julio look in warm-ups today? We got TD? I guess we lost TD. That's all I want to know, how AJ and Julio looked warming up. Because I don't want to say I get worried, but, cold weather, hamstrings, not usually a good, not a good combination. something that I certainly worry about. But especially since I just made Julio my pick to click. By the way, I'm not going to be as over the top as Chris Sanders is about picking the Titans to win. But at least he went with 31 points, which is exactly what you said they're going to have to get to 30 in order to have a chance to win the game. So at least Chris got him to a number. TD's with us again. TD, how did the hamstrings look on AJ and Julio?
Oh, yeah, hamstrings look fine, man. They're good to go. You see them out there running routes and doing all right. So I don't think it's going to be any issue. I think really the thing to watch is just how well AJ is able to hold fluids, because it's not hot, but, I mean, obviously playing in a game, you're going to be sweating, so I wonder how that's going to be for him.
TD, what did you make of Josh Reynolds being deactivated for today's game?
Yeah, that's I'm not even sure how to explain that. I mean, that's obviously a huge disappointment for him. He wanted to come here and have an impact, and now look, he's not even able to be active on game day. So it's a testament to Marcus Johnson, really. I think that's really what it boils down to, because Marcus Johnson is supplanting him as far as on that depth chart, and is one of the options to be there, on the 53-man.
We're speaking to Teron Davenport, of course, the fine Titans beat writer for ESPN.com and ESPN. TD, hello, Caleb Farley. It's big boy time. With Fulton out and on IR, Caleb Farley is going to get thrown into the deep end. Obviously, he's going to get safety help tonight, but assess his assignment.
That's the only way I could put it, man. You got Emmanuel Sanders and Stephon Diggs, two really good route runners. So I think it's going to be a tremendous assignment for him just going against those guys. He better be ready to change direction, ready to close on the football, because those guys are really able to throttle down and work back to the quarterback with their routes. So it's going to be really interesting just watching that. I think for him, it's really good that Amani Hooker was activated, because now you have a guy that can cover a lot of ground back there. You got two, in fact, so that will definitely help. And they're out there now, on warm-ups, and Caleb Farley is, in fact, the right corner. So that's the way it's going to look.
One of the things you astutely pointed out leading up to this game, even though the Titans are among the best as far as running the football, Derrick Henry says it all. But Buffalo's allowing, I think, 3.6 or 3.7 yards per rush. How important is it for the Titans to be more balanced on offense, to give Derrick Henry some room?
It's tremendously important for them to be balanced, but I think the key is knowing that the Bills are going to exert all their resources to stop the run. Now what you have to do is show them that run, but work that play action. These safeties, you look at Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, it's no coincidence that they're one of the best as far as not giving up deep passes, because they play back. Like, these guys are going to be back in Antioch covering this passing game. So now the stuff across the middle is going to be wide open. Jared, we talked about this earlier, and I think when you look at that play action, you get those linebackers to take that read step forward, and you have the safeties bailing out. Man, it's a big, ripe area right in the middle of the field, and I think that's going to be what they're going to, really look at. Play action, that glance play to A.J. Brown, and also, don't be surprised if you have a slant with a dig over top of it. So those are the type of things I could see them doing.
TD, how did Bud Dupree look in warm-ups?
Yeah, actually, I posted a video of him just kind of working through his pass moves and kind of cornering. He had bounce to him that I haven't seen before. So he actually looked pretty good. And there's going to be some background noise because the Bills are running in, and it's like 70-30 Bills fans here. So I apologize for that. But, yeah, I mean, he had a different bounce to him, and that's something that, is good news, because normally when you see him running, you see him favoring that leg. He didn't do that this week. So that's a good look for the Titans.
TD, that Chris Berman used to say, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, but nobody circles the wagons in these situations like Mike Vrabel and the Titans. This seems to bring out the best in him and his staff and their ability to come up with a plan, to win these games. What about that aspect going into tonight?
Yeah, that's huge. And I think really that's something that has to happen today because, let's face the facts. Coaching is going to be a big part of this because, this Bills team, they are stacked with really good players. You watch these guys walk by and it's like, oh, yeah, he's a baller. He's a baller. He's a baller. So you definitely have to be able to, scheme up something to make it work. When you look at their playmakers and just trying to figure out ways to keep Josh Allen from getting those deep passes, it's going to take a lot. But I think if they manage to figure out ways to layer that pass rush and, like I said, work the play action, and, a lot of times in a game like this, your offense has to be your defense. So I think there's a formula. He has a set amount of times minimum that he wants Derrick Henry to run the football. And I think with that will allow him to, do the things that he needs to do. So, yeah, it's huge. And this is a game where you're going to see whether or not, Mike Vrabel has his merit as a coach. There was a point in time where he was considered one of the, top schematic-wise coaches, that 2019 run. So let's see if they can repeat that. They're going to need it to stay in this game because the Bills are top 5 in basically everything.
TD, appreciate you as always. By the way, you'll appreciate this. Chris Sanders picked the Titans because he has a feeling. So I just want you to know, Chris says he has a feeling.
Well, the last time I heard somebody say they had a feeling, it went a little something like this. I got a feeling Buffaloes are going to the Super Bowl. Hey, that's the last time I heard somebody say they had a feeling, so we'll see.
Appreciate you, TD. Enjoy the game.
All right, man. You guys take care.
Yep, Teron Davenport joining us as always, presented by Freedom Tire Guys.
Not afraid to sing on this show.
Nope, online premier mobile tire company, online at freedomtireguys.com. Chris has a feeling. Do we have the same feeling? We will make our picks next here on the pregame show. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The voice of reason.
That whole operation and choices and the plan and everything looked like garbage.
The voice of the fan.
There's a lot of loyal fans paying a lot of good money, and we just feel like we deserve the decency to give us a little bit more of an answer there.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It's the sound of the skates sliding on the ice. It's the rumble of music and vibration under your feet. It's the sea of gold sweeping across Bridgestone Arena. The Nashville Predators are back in action with the excitement you've been waiting for. These are the golden moments you do not want to miss. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets to secure your seat. Grab your gold and show your pride because we're painting the town Preds. Smashville! It's time for Nashville Predators hockey. Visit NashvillePredators.com today.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Basketball season is back, and there's no better place to bet the NBA than the FanDuel Sportsbook app. To celebrate NBA tip-off, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving new customers enhanced odds. That's right, 75-1 odds on any team to win on October 19th or 20th. I love the Orlando Magic, but I also feel good about the Lakers. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, now is the perfect time to give it a shot. You know I love FanDuel because they've got live betting during games, and they've got fast withdrawals, so when you win, FanDuel will pay your winnings in as little as 24 hours. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with the promo code JGM to get 75-1 odds on any team to win on October 19th or 20th. That's promo code JGM. 21 and older in President Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Ryan Porth here for Dr. Kelly Rice, Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. My family has been visiting Dr. Rice for 18 years. If you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Dr. Rice and her amazing staff can change your life. They do more than just dental work. They quiet your snoring, heal cold sores, and give you that beautiful smile. And if you're worried about not having dental insurance, their membership club has you covered. So do what my family has done. Go to kellyerice.com and schedule your visit to Dr. Kelly Rice, Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. You'll be glad you did.
Choosing the right window treatments for your living space is serious business. Why struggle on your own when you can have the expertise of a seasoned design consultant in the comfort of your home, free of charge? For over 40 years, 3 Day Blinds has been making sure treatments have the perfect look to fit your style. We bring the showroom to you. We design, we measure, we install, and you relax. Right now, get 50% off the second treatment of select blind shades or drapery. Schedule your free, no-obligation in-home design consult. Visit 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
Darren McFarland.
That should get you in the mood for a game tonight.
Willie Donick.
I think between 5.5 and 6 is probably in the ballpark.
Chase McCabe.
Typically, I like to take the most difficult task and do it first.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Nashville, this is Dan Lovitz. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Buffalo Bills, Tennessee Titans, 20 minutes away from kickoff in Music City, live from Rock Bottom Brewery downtown. It's the pregame show. Mark Howard, Jared Stillman. Time now to take a look at the sports books. As we do that, the latest odds on today's game are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook and my official sportsbook app. Mark Howard, the Buffalo Bills are favored in this game against the Titans. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody, considering they may be the best team in the NFL, but the line has moved from 5.5 last week to 6. So a lot of the money coming in on Buffalo. Buffalo -6 is -260 on the money line. The Titans +215 on the money line. The over-under 53.5.
I think a lot of people feel like this game is going to fly over the total.
I mean, you got to think it's going to be, well, let's see. 40.
If it's 30 to 23, then it goes
close.
over.
I'm pretty close. I think I'm actually taking that. I'm an undertaker, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't like it. I'd rather take the over. Anytime touchdown scorer, Derrick Henry leads the way at -145. Stephon Diggs -110. Zach Moss +110. Josh Allen +130. A.J. Brown +150. Emmanuel Sanders +160. Go all the way down. Ryan Tannehill +420. Lower odds than Marcus Johnson at +330.
Wouldn't it be nice if Marcus Johnson had a big game?
It would be nice if anybody had a big game. Passing props, you tell me. Over, under. Ryan Tannehill, 237.5.
I'm going to say over.
It has to be over for them to win.
Yes.
But if it's under, they're probably going to lose.
Yeah.
Now, he did throw under 200 last year when they smoked the Bills, but the likelihood of the turnovers that they were able to benefit from, probably not going to happen. Josh Allen, over, under 295.5.
I'm going to say under.
Really?
Too easy.
Receiving for the Titans, A.J. Brown, 57.5.
I'm going to say under.
Julio Jones, 47.5.
Well, I'm sorry. A.J. Brown over, Julio Jones under.
You think Julio under 47?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Why? Because of the hamstring?
Because it's a lower number, and they don't think he's going to rack up a lot of yards.
Derrick Henry, 95.5.
I'm going to say over.
I don't know how they can win if Derrick Henry doesn't have like 120, something like that. Zach Moss, 43.5. Josh Allen, 35.5. I will take the over on Josh Allen at 35.5.
I'll take the over on Moss.
Allen may not have to run. You know, that's one of the unfortunate things about the Titans. Player longest rush, Derrick Henry, over under 18.5.
I'm going to say over. He can break those big ones.
I wonder, you think he pops a big one tonight?
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Oh, my goodness. So here's what I think. In order for him to do that, the first half, Buffalo's not going to let that happen. The second half is when Derrick pops the big one. So if he's going to do it, the game still has to be close, that they can run the football, and that Buffalo's not dropping everybody back into coverage. Because if Buffalo's dropping everybody back into coverage, then there's no shot of Derrick Henry doing that. But I'm going to take over 18.5 for Derrick Henry. As far as that's concerned, Derrick Henry plus 25 yards is, for Derrick Henry, I think he'll get a 25-yarder. Defensive props. I didn't even know you could bet defensive props like this.
You can bet anything.
Jayon Brown over under 7.5 tackles. David Long Jr. over under 7.5 tackles.
I'd say over.
That's a look at the sportsbooks. The latest odds on today's game are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook app. Time now to make our final predictions here on the program, presented by Social Furniture, located at 5412 Charlotte Avenue in Nashville. Shop local, shop social. Chris Sanders already picked the Titans, which is pretty wild. And that is something Floyd would do, I think, is pick the Titans randomly. Chris Sanders, 31-24 Titans. Mark Howard, who wins today and why?
Titans shock the world 30-27. We'll wake up and America will be saying nice things about the two-tone blue.
I am working with the crazies. It's too bad the Bills Mafia has made their way to the stadium because I am working with the crazies. Chris Sanders is picking the Titans. Mark Howard is picking the Titans. Caroline Fenton earlier today took the Titans +6. I'm taking Buffalo 33-14.
Wow.
I just think Buffalo's too good. I just don't think the Titans are good enough. I think the Titans have proven to us that they're not good. They're in a dogfight with Jacksonville. You ain't going to beat the Buffalo Bills. I think the Bills get it done. That's going to do it for us. We will be back here on Sunday before the Titans take on the Chiefs. Stillman and Company tomorrow. Full reaction at 2. We'll see you then. Monday Night Football. The MTSU Coaches Show's next.
Joe Rexrode.
I think they feel pretty good about things.
Robbie and Rexrode. Weekday mornings